Hey guys, we got an old 2018 Accord here. We're gonna flush the system here, coolant system. So it's drain and fill, in other words. I was gonna change the turbo here, so I decided to create a video on how to drain and fill the coolant system as well. So pretty much this is, right now the car has to be nice and cool, so you cannot open this when it's hot. So we're gonna leave, I'm not even gonna open this. I'm gonna go downstairs and in the bottom, under the car, and open the drainer first. So anyways, what we're gonna do is open the drainer, and then we'll fill up the system. But meanwhile, in between, I'm going to change the turbo. That'll be another video. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. We're going to jack up the car. So underneath the vehicle, I'm going to take off this cover here. The cover has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws for this. I'm going to take off this to put it to the side. So very simple. These usually don't turn, so you probably have to put it vice grip on it. But I loosened them before for transmission flush, so they're pretty loose. But you see this one's kind of jammed. But this should all come off just like this, and this thing should just pop open, all of them, and then you're good to go. If the guy doesn't open on you, you're gonna use the vice grip to hold on to it, and all I can say is good luck. So I'm gonna get this guy out, and then we should have the cover out. It's a bad design. Aluminum into metal. Of course it's gonna lock up. And I had this thing open probably 4 months back, doing a flush, not even 4 months back, a few months. So I'm gonna get that cover out. Gonna get this cover out. So just push back on it. You're gonna see all kinds of crazy stuff down here. That can sit down there. So we got a good view right here. So we most likely gonna be working with the drainer right over here. So this is your drainer over here. Remember, if your car is hot, it's probably going to be under pressure, so take it easy. So let me get a bucket, and we're going to drain this baby. Off a bucket with a funnel. So this thing's going to drain out right from over here. Yep, right here. This is your drainer. So it's going to come straight down here. We're going to put this baby right here. And remember, it's probably going to be under pressure, so it's going to probably, mine's kind of warm. So there you go. And there we have it. My friend here is helping me. So we got our old 2018 Accord. We got the antifreeze draining on this baby, and we're gonna flush this guy up really good. We're gonna give a good half an hour to drain everything out of the system. And remember, not all of it's gonna come out, so make sure you have 2 gallons. So meanwhile, we're gonna work on the turbo. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this, so it's gonna release pressure, and it's gonna start to come down faster. There you go, perfect. That's what I like to see. Always check your cap. If this is broken, replace it. We're gonna save this over here so we know where it's at. So meanwhile, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on this turbo. Okay, so we're gonna take off this bucket over here for the transmission. I'm sorry, not transmission, coolant reservoir right here. So what we'll do is we'll take this off first. So you need a flathead screwdriver. Just remove this little guy right here. And this guy comes right off, and you should be able to, there you go. This guy should be able to come apart just like that. Put that to the side. Now you'll have more room for this reservoir. Let's take off this cap. Don't worry about spilling anything. So empty this out too. Put fresh antifreeze. Even though this is empty, we're gonna put this away. We're gonna come back. Okay guys, I'm gonna take you guys one thing at a time. So my antifreeze is still draining. So we're gonna take off this clamp right here. You could take off this 10 millimeters and move this whole thing away, but I don't like to do that. I'd rather take off these vacuum lines. So I'm gonna just play around with this little guy to break the grip loose. And make sure you don't squeeze it, because if you squeeze it, you will break it. So I just want to break the grip loose on this. And once the grip breaks loose, sometimes I end up breaking stuff, but just take it easy. It's plastic, you know. So I just want to take off all the lines, and I'm going to try to keep this pipe as one piece. And we're still over here. We're going to remove this little guy right here. Okay, there you go. That's out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get more tools. Okay, next step, I'm going to loosen this, okay? And I'm going to loosen this, okay? Whatever is the best option. If it comes this way, that way, or if they both come off, easy, good for me. But over time, within 10 years, this is gonna become so hard that if you try to take it apart, it's not gonna come apart. And if you want to go with the, you know what? Let's take off the whole filter housing, so everything can just stay as one piece. So there's a couple of clips on this little guy, and I'm gonna go get another tool. Okay, so we're gonna take off this clip right here. I'm using this fork. If you don't have this fork, you could use, they usually break, but you could use this or flathead screwdriver. So my car is kind of high because I'm flushing the antifreeze from the bottom. So I want to disconnect this sensor also right here, and there you go. Once you disconnect the sensor, this whole thing should lift out of here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this whole piece together, or if you want, you know what, we don't want to break nothing, so we're gonna leave it as it is. So we're gonna have to get everything off. Let's take off this clamp. Okay, let's break the grip loose on this. There you go. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take off these two 10 millimeters right here, and then we'll go in the bottom and take off this 10 millimeter and two 10 millimeters over here, and then there's two 12 millimeters holding this in the bottom, one over here, one there. Okay, we're gonna take off the 10 millimeter right here. Very important you keep this safe and make sure you don't drop nothing inside the engine or inside the exhaust. So this guy's gonna come off and this guy's gonna come off, and this whole thing's gonna start to remove. If you want to take this off, it'd be all up to you. So what I'll do is, let's give it a attempt, you know? You never know if you got lucky here. So remember how we broke the grip loose on these and these pipes? Same thing. This thing is gripping on for so long that it's probably not gonna come out on us. So let's give it a try. You never know, you know? Yeah, we're gonna leave it alone. We'll just take the whole thing and put it away. But this is bolted in the bottom, and you got a whole bunch of number 10s over here. So we're gonna take off these two 10 millimeters, and then we'll come back. Okay, what we're gonna do is 10 millimeter right here, and 10 millimeter right below that. They both gotta come off. And let's see. Okay, once they're loose, you should be able to turn it by hand. If the car is very, very old, if you're watching this video 10 years from now, these are probably not gonna come out that easy. Put them somewhere safe, because you're gonna reuse these same bolts. There you have it. So this is just a whole bunch of vacuum lines here that's going to it. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take off this bracket right here also. There's two 10 millimeters. It might give me more room to work on the bolts on this air duct down there. Okay, we're gonna take this 10 millimeter with the extension here. I'm gonna take this off, and then I'm gonna take off. You know what? Let me get that bolt out of there right now. I'm gonna get that off, and this guy comes. This is where the reservoir for the coolant rests, like it sits on it. So now it's gonna give me more room to work on the bolts going across. So here it is. We're gonna put this away and come back. Now we got this 12 millimeter socket here. We got about I would say 6 to 7 inches long extension with the 3/8 drive ratchet. We're gonna go down there. There's two bolts here, okay? You're probably gonna drop them. Both of these bolts are connected to this little guy. It's holding this to the turbo. So it's not gonna come out so easy, but 10 years from now, that bolt is gonna be so rusted, it's most likely gonna break. But remember, the turbo brings a new stud. You're probably gonna have to order a new nut. Let's see, I gotta lose. Let's see if I can put my hands in there to grab the nut from right here. There's one on the opposite side, but on the opposite side is a bolt, not a nut. So on the opposite side, you're gonna take out a complete bolt. So I'm gonna just show you this and do the same thing on the other side. And then we will take off the whole air duct system right here. Come on out. Okay, there you go, it's coming out. And there it is. Save this guy, and I'm gonna take off the other side, and then we'll come back. So I got this off right from down here, and 12 millimeter is about 1.5 inches long, and I'm gonna put this away. And you see this whole thing start to move? Only thing that's holding is this little guy, and I gotta take off this clip. I'm gonna put this over here. I gotta take off this little clip right here. So to squeeze this little guy, just pull. You can take off the 10mm. It's all up to you, or just get this whole thing out of the way and pull on this tab, and this guy should come off. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna take it off. So I was telling this guy, my friend here, this was gonna screw me. So I was trying to get that off, but I don't want to waste my time on that. So we're gonna break this loose. So now we got 3 10mm, 2 from down there, 1 from over here. Keep them all together. And this bracket should come back a little bit, because the bolt's gonna come and hit this. Just pull this bracket back with it so you have more room. And there you go. So now you should be able to, all I did was pull this little guy. We should be able to, probably not be able to. Let's see what I'm doing wrong here. So this guy should be able to come out. So that stud is holding us apart. The things that are bothering us is over here. Let's take a look right here. So we're gonna remove this clip right over here. So squeeze on this and get this turbo solenoid sensor off. And what we're gonna do is right down here, you got 2 vacuum lines. So I would suggest take off these. You know, you see how I messed up? I should have taken these off first, because I thought I was gonna get this off. But this gotta come off back about 1.5 inches for it to come off. So these are vacuum lines. There's no liquid in there, no pressure. So just get them both off. So one is fat, one is skinny. You can't go wrong. Okay, you cannot place it at the wrong spot. If you do that, you might not be able to put them on. Okay, so it probably are gripped on. So break the grip loose and take these off, and then we'll come back. Bucket in half. So we're gonna close this guy up right here. So let's close this guy up and put your covers on if you're done. But we're gonna be working on the turbo. We got a lot more to take off down here. We'll come back down here to do that. So we took off about 1.5 gallons, a little bit less than 1.5 gallons. Okay, I had to take off these 2 vacuum lines. I tried to take it off here, they wouldn't come off, and then I took it off right here because this pipe has held themselves. So remember, pop this open, break the grip loose, and let's see if this baby all comes out as one piece. My tools are falling over here. Let me move my tools. And what we're gonna do is this whole thing comes off, and there's got to be a seal here. You see that black seal right here, the O-ring? Make sure that you don't lose that. Okay, let it just sit right here, and that's it. And we got plenty of room to work on everything. So first thing first, we're gonna take off a whole bunch of coolant lines. Remember, we empty out the system, so there might be coolant in here, but not a lot. And whatever's in that bottom pipe right there, we might have to save it down, and we might have to put a bucket in the bottom. So take off this little guy, take off that pipe, and then you can bring everything out with all these pipes and swap them onto the new turbo. So, and these vacuum lines can come with it, but they're right through these lines. So get that all off. So let me get more tools. Okay, now we're gonna take off this sensor right here. So this sensor is clipped on right here. So first, let's disconnect this little guy. You squeeze on this and you pull this off, and you're gonna squeeze this little tab right here. This guy's gonna come out of there. We gotta take this off right here. Most likely it's gonna break unless you take it easy, but usually they break, and you could use a strap tie after that. Okay, there you go. And this guy comes out of this housing right here. So let's open this up. So if you're putting a new sensor, this will be the process right here. You're gonna need a socket 7x18. This is 3/8 dry long ratchet, so it gives us good leverage. So we're gonna turn this counterclockwise, and that's how you're gonna turn this baby out of there. And you turn, and this guy is gonna come out. Simple and easy. Look at that. We're gonna put this to the side. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this little bracket right here. So it has a 12mm right down below here, and once you take that 12mm off, this bracket's gonna come loose. Very important you put this on, because your air duct housing sits on top. And once it's loose, this guy should just come off by itself with the bolt. There you go. That's where the bolt was at. So I'm gonna put this away, and then we're gonna come back and remove the shield. Next step, we're gonna remove some of these bolts. Okay, I want to get to these bolts first. 12 millimeter. This is one, and there's one below that. Okay, we can take this shield off later. Let's just take this top shield off. This two pieces, okay? And you know what? We're gonna have to remove the other one too because there's bolts on it. So let's start with the one at a time. Let's get this guy off. It's limited space here, okay? It's limited space for us to work on. Okay, we're back in business. We're gonna take off the 12 millimeter right here, not this one right here. This is 14. We're gonna take off this 12 millimeter over here, and we'll take off the coolant lines later because I don't want to see no spill. There's one more over here. So these 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, that I just showed you, is for the top shield. This is one. Should be coming off by hand now. This is 2, and then this little guy. And there you have it. Okay, now we're gonna go further down, and we're gonna remove this guy right here. If it gets stiffened on me, I'm gonna come back and remove the other 2. So let's start from this guy first. Keep the bolts together in order, and that way there's no long or short bolts. So pretty much we got a couple of vacuum lines and the air line from the bottom, and it should come out. And there's one bolt all the way down over here, if you guys can see right here. I'm gonna take this guy off right here, and there's 3 bolts on the shield. So that one's kind of loose. Let me see if I can get it off by hand. There it is. And then we got one over here. And our shield. Very important you put these shields back, okay? If you don't, all these wires and everything's gonna take the heat. Probably gonna destroy your sensor wires. Okay, there's gotta be another bolt because it's not moving. Okay, I see one more bolt. I see a few more bolts down there. The shield goes all the way down there. So I guess we're gonna have to keep following it till all the bolts come out. It's jammed up. There's no other bolts you need to remove, so it's kind of stuck there, and I just yanked it. It probably was corroded with the rust, and it was sitting there for so many years. So 3 bolts, I'm gonna put them away just like that. Okay guys, so the plan here is we gotta take out this oil line here. There's an oil line in the bottom. There's coolant lines here, so we're not gonna touch any of these lines because we don't want nothing dripping on our face. So we'll work at the bottom, and then we'll come back up. But right now, from right here, I have a good access to taking off from this air pipe here. And I'm gonna just loosen up that 10 millimeter, and I'm gonna try to pop that pipe off, okay? And that's all. You're not gonna see it, so at least you got to see what I'm doing here. So number 10 millimeter, turn, and there goes my tool. So I'll get it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I loosened up the pipe there, the intake, the pipe there. So I'm just using this pry bar to break the grip loose, and then I could just pull it down from the bottom, and that's it. And make sure you don't miss and hit the radiator or anything like that. So it's out of the way. Number 10 is loose. The grip is out of the way. The pipe wants to go down. Maybe we're gonna have to pull the turbo and grab that pipe at the same time because it's a very thick pipe, okay? Yep, it's a very thick pipe. But it's coming off, and we're gonna leave it there. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna remove this bolt here, and there's a 14 millimeter over here, so this converter can drop when we're losing it. But as you can see, I popped the pipe off right here. Very easy to take off. You got 2 10 millimeters on the oil lines there, so that's something that you're gonna have to fish out, and good luck with that. So we got a 14 millimeter right here. My ratchet was ready, and this is not gonna be easy. Be careful when you tighten it because it's into the oil pan, because you don't want to over tighten it and crack that pan. That's one. You gotta take these off because your converter gotta come. It's gonna drop down about a quarter. It's gonna move out of the way. This is the only way it's gonna move. And this bolt is ridiculous long. And make sure you put them in, because if you don't, the whole muffler will rattle around. So I'm gonna keep these bolts down here. And we got one more over here. Should be very simple to get to. Same thing. This one's blocked into like the engine. Okay, so once I have this off, we'll come back and remove the two 10 millimeters for the oil. It's time for me to remove the two 10 millimeters, which the camera's not gonna see, I'm not gonna see, no one's gonna see. But this is how we're gonna do it. Once I get it out, I'm gonna remove one, show you guys. Like I said, if this is a 10-year-old car, these babies ain't coming out that easy, okay? So there you have it, that's one. Take off the other one, then you're gonna have oil spill, and we're gonna come back. We don't wanna focus on this because there's no way we can see up there, but I showed it to you. Two bolts go right in under. Okay, we got the oil line out. I don't know how I'm gonna get it. There's no freaking room anywhere, but I would have to figure that part out, how I'm gonna install those. Probably gonna spend a good 2 hours on that. So let's take off this coolant line. Gonna take off the clamp. So everything just runs so close to the block. Maybe if you can remove the turbo and then we have more room. But okay, there you go. It's coming off. It stops there. I guess when I lift the turbo up, it should give me more freedom. So we're gonna just keep it moving. Let's take off. This is also a coolant line. So that's a coolant line and this is a coolant line. I wanted to take that off first. And that way this doesn't spill on us. But like I said, we already emptied the system out. Shouldn't be no coolant in there, but remember it's wet. Leave that there. Okay, so all these turbo coolant lines gonna come out with it. This is going through it, so we definitely gonna have to take off that line. So this, okay, this is all gonna come out together. It's gonna come out as a one piece. So now let's take off 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on this housing of this muffler. Okay, so I'm using a 14 millimeter deep socket. If you could get a little bit longer than that, it'd be better if you could grab it right there. So I might get an extension, but let's see how this works out for me. Okay, this is not gonna work out for me. I'll be right back, get another tool. Another attempt with this 14 millimeter here. I got me a long leverage ratchet with the extension right here. This baby's not coming loose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this guy up. These bolts out. So I just wanna get them hot and then I will continue. You're not gonna see the whole thing. So I'm gonna heat this, and then heat that bolt, 4 bolts, and then get them out. And then once I have them off, I will show you. Okay guys, I took off this nut from all the way in the bottom. It's a bracket in the back. So this 14 millimeter from right here. This is a special nut. It goes right on it, right in the back. It holds this turbo together. I'm gonna give this to my friend. He's gonna hold on to it. I'll put it in my pocket for now. And then what are we gonna do next is we're gonna loosen this guy right here. This has oil in it, so just loosen it for now. That's what I'm gonna do because I still want it. It's probably got, so you see this little guy, this clip here. It got a retainer. It got 2 washers, pressure washers. I'm not sure if the turbo comes with it. We'll put it. If not, we will use this. But we're gonna make sure that's there. Otherwise, you're gonna have leak. Okay, the oil's gonna leak. And also the 2 nuts we took off from the bottom. There's got to be some type of O-rings around it, or something's got to be around it. Time for me to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is loose. Remember, we took off the bracket in the bottom. Also took off a 10 millimeter of this, so this line can be extended down a little bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat these up, and I'm gonna get the 4 bolts out, and we'll start in a moment. Okay, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off this 10 millimeter right here, and this 10 millimeter right here. I'm gonna get this line out of the way, okay? So pretty much we just assemble the whole freaking engine here. And I would say 3 hours is maximum job for this. And if you're fast enough, you probably knock it out in 2 hours. But this is where the antifreeze travels. So I'm gonna take this and just put this to the side. I'm gonna put these 2 nuts to the side also, just don't lose them. So now I should be able to, I'm gonna heat all these bolts up, okay? That's the only way I'm gonna take them off. I just wanna put my wrench on to see if it fits. Okay, there we have it. Okay guys, now we got this mini inductor here. I'm gonna push the button. I'm gonna heat up the exhaust bolts because I'm not taking no chance with any of these bolts. I'm gonna show you 1 or 2 and do the same thing with the other 2 to get them off, but it's gonna be hot, so be careful you don't touch it. All right, so we're gonna come back once it's nice and hot. Okay, so this baby should be nice and hot. We can't touch it, and I cannot put this tool anywhere that's gonna burn anything like the lines and stuff. So I can smell it, it's nice and hot. And there you go, it's loose. I'm gonna switch up to the ratchet side of this tool. And there you go. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the other three, and then we'll come back. Okay, this bolt should be nice and hot. Same thing. I'm gonna put this away. And let's try this side first. And remember, you don't want to break these bolts. And I don't have a good angle here. Okay, this should be enough here. I'm gonna go more with the heat. Okay, I'll be back. Out of this bolt, I got a better angle this way. There you go. It's loose now. I'm gonna switch up to this side. So maybe the first time I didn't have a good angle, but here it is. I'm gonna try to get this out a little bit. And now I'm gonna try these two, and let me not mess with it. Let me heat them. Okay, so we're still heating this up. I got 1, 2, 3 loose. This is the last one. We're gonna keep the camera on for this one. And if you're using this guy, check this out. Do not melt your car. I put this over here. I forgot that it was hot. But it touched from this edge right here, but it melted the plastic. But it's fine. So I'll just be aware of this. So I'm going to put this tool away, and I'm going to come back and see if you're losing it. Don't turn off the camera yet. All right, I'm going to put this to the floor. This thing should be nice and hot. It should be like toasty. And look at how easy that comes out. So you don't want to break any of these bolts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all 4 bolts off, and then we'll take off the turbo together. Okay, got all the bolts out. Turbo's moving around. But remember, this line right here, this metal line is not gonna release nothing. And I just realized this might not even let us take out the turbo because it's solid metal. Okay, there it is. There's a little washer on it, like I told you, this little guy. Okay, it stayed behind. The washer broke, that's fine. So there's 2 pieces here, okay? There's 2 pieces here. Cannot lose these, okay? We'll see if they come together. New one with the turbo. Let's see, maybe you can fish this out. If anything, we're gonna take off these 2 lines right here. If we have enough clearance. Remember, there's also, okay, we gotta take this guy off and out of the way. There you go, let it sit there. And then, this guy is probably gonna give us, okay, remember, we forgot to take out, come around. We forgot to take out that one line. We couldn't get it off, but I thought it would come with it, but it's not coming with it. So we're gonna have to take that off. So we're gonna come back after we take that off. A whole bunch of antifreeze coming on. That's fine. Okay, I got the bucket in the bottom. Not worried about that. Let's see if this turbo let us bring them out. What did we mess up? Oh, we didn't mess up nothing. There you go. There it is. It's a boy. All right, we're gonna put this to the side here. That's it. Okay, guys, very important. I'm gonna show you guys a whole bunch of seal this holders. Perfect. That's for the oil. That's for the bottom 2 10mm we took off for the oil. It's a part number there. And then we got this one for the exhaust. I don't know which one's which, but we'll figure that one out. And then we got this one right here. So 3 seals. All 3 are important. I wish they gave us other seals for the top. Let's go over there. So I wish they gave us seal for this too. I had a tissue here. Right here. I'm gonna clean this up because it's always good to put new. But this is very easy from the top. Whenever you ever gotta do it, you might as well do it now. But it's already done. We should have known about that. But here's one of the seal. Let's see which one matches here. So we don't want to touch any of this stuff. Let's just take out all the dirt here and all this stuff. Can't let it go inside the block or into the converter or into the turbo. And you don't need to clean none of this. This is fine. Okay, perfectly fine. So let me get another seal and we match it up. Oh, this gasket here, this gasket is the same one. It goes over here. I held it the same way. So make sure you hold it the same direction. I'm gonna get this out of the package. And I'm gonna put it right now so we don't mix it up and we don't forget. Okay, so This, it tells you here facing front and FR front, and same thing here, FR front. And this is how I took it off exactly. I always keep my seals holding on. So remember, my stud came off the other one, so we're gonna have to probably push this and get the bolts in. So we're gonna leave this here so we don't mix that one up. And I have no clue how I'm gonna get this onto the turbo and everything. So I might just put the turbo here and put the seal on, and let's see how that goes. And to take off this clip of this little guy right here, and the reason is because we never gonna get them two 10mm bolts on this, but we can stick this plier and get the clamp on. So I'm gonna just make the clamp go a little further down so it doesn't bother me. So we can stick this in there. So it's best that we do it right now. Okay, so this sits in that angle, so do not mount it in that angle. Make sure you mount it in the same angle. So I'm gonna get this, prep this first. Okay, we're gonna take the seal. We're gonna take the seal, the new seal, and I want this, which is down here. I want this in that direction. Okay, that's how it was. So I remember when I took out the seal, this was facing that way, and this oval piece is facing down. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna match it up right here. And once you're completed with this, make sure, okay, I got it wrong. It's only gonna probably fit one way. And this is gonna go like that. You gotta always check, do the oil change also. That way it has fresh oil going into your turbo. And you gotta check before you close everything. Make sure everything is in there. Just inspect it that there's no leaks here. There shouldn't be any leaks if you do it properly. So the reason why we couldn't get this because the catalytic converter was right here, but we got that converter out of the way, so that'd be the last thing. I'll make sure I put this in first and then the converter. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten both of these. Let me get my wrench. Okay, so I want to tighten this. You can't just squeeze the crap out of one bolt. Make sure you do a little bit and a little bit. There is torque specs for this, so if you have that, go by the torque specs. Other than that, if you're a great mechanic, you should know that you don't want to snap the bolts. And that feels good to me. We're gonna leave it right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, that's that. We're gonna flip this turbo over. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this turbo down just the way that one is. So let's take a look at this one. So time for us to take off the pipes. Each pipe gotta come off and go the same direction. 10mm here. Remember to get these seals also, okay? We don't have these, but don't worry, it's not gonna leak. It's not a big deal. But this guy comes off, and it came out with the seal, so make sure that seal's there. This guy goes on like that, right? Yep, just like that. 10mm here. Yep. 10mm here. I'm not gonna smack it with my gun, okay? I just want to get it in there, and then I'm gonna go by hand. Okay. 1 and 2. Don't snap it. If you snap it, you're in trouble. Okay, that's that. So next, we're gonna take off this pipe here. This is just booster lines, okay? These. So the problem I found was this little guy right here compared to this one right here. You see how this one is solid? It doesn't even move. So this one's losing power because of that. That's the reason why it's losing power. This little guy right here. This internal. So it's not holding no pressure. Compared to this little guy right here. Look at this. I can turn it, but it doesn't move, so it holds pressure, okay? So that was the issue there. Okay, let's see if I can get these two vacuum lines off without cracking them. Very important not to crack these. Okay. grip is not out yet. You know what? Let me try from the bottom one here. Okay, let's see if I can break the grip. Okay, there you go. The grip is out. That comes off, and I'm left with this one right here. Ah! This little guy's gonna break my back. I can't snap this pipe for any reason. Okay, come on. Oh God. There you go. A little bit of leverage from my tool. There you go. So, should be very easy for me to get it onto this. Okay, so this sticks right in. Got a good view. Everybody can see. There you go. 1 and 2. Make sure you put the clamps on. This is one clamp right here. And then we got another clamp. Okay. My arm's gonna be in the way, but I'll get it in there. There you go. Perfect. All right, so time for us to put this in. Time to put this turbo back in. So I'll put this little pipe here. I'm gonna remove this pipe, and I want to check something. Let's pause the camera. Okay. So worst procedure, I did put a little pipe here so we don't lose any antifreeze. I'll remove that in a moment. But right now my main concern is to get that little oil pipe in the bottom in and the turbo into its spot. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I will have to move this little bit. And then, okay, pipe is sitting right on it. And there you go. I'm able to grab from right here. I'm able to put this guy from right over here. So that pipe is no problem to get that in. But let's let this sit right here. And we're gonna go in the bottom and put everything from the bottom first. Well, I'm gonna put one of the bolts here. Turbo be in place. So remember, this stud came off together. So I want to remove this yellow thing right here. They put that there for safety, nothing falls inside. So what I need to do here is get this gasket onto this bolt. This turbo needs to kind of move into one direction. If I can align it. If I can't, I gotta come back out, get the gasket in one more time. So what I need to do is, the pipe is bothering in the bottom, so we're gonna have to go in the bottom. Okay, so I got the pipe from the bottom. There's a bracket here. Remember that big bolt I showed you guys? So this turbo gotta sit not on this side, the opposite side. That's what was bothering me. So I got the pipe from the bottom also, right from up here. We didn't have to go down. So everything just sits nicely and evenly. So this gasket is gonna bother me now, because the gasket and everything all not aligned together. But you gotta do it by hand. Everything's gotta be done by hand, okay? So nothing can be crooked, nothing can sit crooked, or you're gonna damage everything. So let me see what I can do here. So the gasket is not allowing me. So I'm gonna get this bolt and then we'll come back and watch the rest of the video. Okay, so all right, so I got this bolt in. You're gonna have to hold this up really nice and straight to get it in. So make sure you catch the thread straight. That is the key there. And you should be able to turn as many threads as possible. So same thing over here. So let me get them all in, and then we're gonna tighten them together, okay? And we're gonna use the sequence this. So they gotta be in order. Okay, so we got it in, so we'll come back in like 2 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna tighten the bottom bolt. And then we're gonna tighten this bolt, okay? So snug them all, okay? Don't go crazy just with one bolt or you will have pressure leak. Pressure leak is no good for the turbo. Turbo needs all the pressure as possible. So that's there. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock up these. I'm gonna lock up all the bolts. Now still in order, okay? 1, 2, 3, and there goes nothing. Don't miss and break all this, okay? Make sure your wrench is on good, because if you miss, you will break these solenoids. Those are $400 pieces there. 1, double check, 2, and 3. Bada bing, bada boom. The bolt, I told you guys, give me a good light. Your fingers on the light. This bolt goes in the bottom here. There's a bracket back here, and it has a washer onto it. So I'm gonna get this on. There you go. So it should perfectly line unless you banged anything out of the way. Remember, we still gotta put the clamp on the bottom pipe for the oil, and I need this and this. This is how I took it off. So now I'm gonna just tighten this guy up, and this guy goes in from right here, and I'm able to see the bolts from this side, and hand tight, and that's it. 1, 2, bada bing, bada boom. That's it. Okay, so we're gonna put this. Remember, we took off this to give us a lot of. You know what? Yeah, let's leave this off for now because I want to work on the seal here. Okay, there's a seal here. This stupid seal. Okay, it's like a brake line type of seal. So this goes in the bottom, and then it has a seal on the top. Let me just clean it up a little bit. Can't lose those pieces. So if these leak, you will have oil leak. So make sure. Let's get this baby in the bottom. Okay, as you can see, right there, sitting right there. This one has a seal there, so it's like a sandwich. You're not gonna see it on the camera, but make sure you don't miss the bottom one. There you go. I think I got it. Let me just feel. Try to pull out the old seal from the bottom. It doesn't come off. Good, perfect. So what I want to do is, I had this leak on me on a Mini Cooper. Okay, I had to stick a bolt right here, so it was just a bad angle. There was nothing I could do. We tried so much, so I'm gonna tighten this up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna lock up this little guy. Make sure, remember, 2 seals gotta be like a little sandwich, just like a brake line. So nice and tight, and you don't want to strip this. Bada bing, bada boom. And remember, once everything is covered, you're barely gonna see that guy. So if you see any oil seeping through here, it's either this line is leaking or the one in the bottom. Hopefully that's not the case. And let's put this in. 2 10 millimeters. One here. So guys, I'm gonna end the video here, but I want you guys to make sure. I haven't put the clamp in yet. Make sure you put that clamp onto that line right there so your oil doesn't leak. Make sure you put this coolant line. Make sure you put that clamp on that coolant line. Make sure you put the air duct coming across, and 2 bolts that goes here. Make sure these vacuum lines are in. The 2 10 millimeter. This pipe is in. And then the last thing you want to do is, before you put the air duct, put the seal in, and put this in, and put the 4 bolts in, and 2 in the bracket. But before you put the bracket in, make sure you put the clamp onto the line, oxygen sensor and everything. So I'll probably record a little bit more. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how I feel about it. So this gasket's only gonna go one way, okay? If you try to attempt it any different way, it's probably not gonna fit. So you see, it's only gonna fit one way. If you try it any other direction, you flip it, turn it, twist it, it's not gonna fit. So we're pretty much done. I did put the clamp onto this pipe, and did put this one in and locked up these 2 bolts. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little guy, and it's probably gonna give us trouble. There you go. And once it sits, it should go into both of these bolts. We're gonna have to, oh my god. Yeah, what's up? Okay. I'm gonna have to kind of twist it and turn it. What is bothering me? What is bothering me here? Well, I don't have the back for this. It's gotta come up more. There you go. There you go. It's going in. It's gotta twist it a little bit. It's gotta get twisted. Okay. Wow. Okay, we're gonna pause the camera and try again. Okay, guys, so it was aligning. So what I did was I grabbed this once I had it sitting right on top of the bolts, and I just used this to twist it. Okay, all it needed to be a little bit twisted. Okay, that's all it needed to be. Okay, so I'm not gonna lock up these bolts because the bottom bracket might give me trouble. So we're gonna go down to the bottom. We're gonna finish everything up in the bottom, and then we're gonna come back. We'll drain the oil also, and then we'll put antifreeze and everything back together. We'll come back to the top later. So finishing things up from the bottom, we drained the oil. We're gonna put fresh oil in it. I'm gonna clean this up, spray this in with the cleaner here. Filter, oil, all new. And make sure you put the oil in first. Put the 2 bolts on the brackets here. And that's it. Okay, right here, you have 1 bolt. Nut, I would heat the crap out of it, heat the crap out of it, heat the crap out of it. And that's how you're gonna remove these. Make sure you put a new gasket to change this converter. And if you need to get to the oxygen sensor, right there, bank 1, sensor 2. So there's only 2 sensors on this guy, and they connect to the top. Very easy to do so. But anyways, that's it. It's very easy to change this converter or the turbo. It'll probably take you good 2-3 hours, and should be a simple job though. Okay guys, everything is done. Got the 4 bolts in, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna tighten these. Make sure your gasket's in there. Gasket is very critical. If that gasket's not there, your turbo is not gonna boost like it's supposed to. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock up 4 of these bolts, and that's it. And if you need to turn them by hand, turn them by hand. If you can get it without it, good. So I'm gonna finish this out, and then we'll come right back. Give me about 5 minutes, guys, and that's it. Very important, you put the shields on and the same bolts. It's a big fat hole over here. Make sure you don't drop nothing in there. You drop your bolt or a socket, forget about it. You're gonna have to take the whole thing apart. Not the whole thing, but this side of it. Take off at least the converter here. And the shield goes on. And then we got 1 bolt, sits right over here. Camera can't see it, but they're all number 12, so lock them all up. I'm gonna get them in hand. Very important shield because this protects all the plastic components from being burnt, like sensors and stuff here. So this is in, this is in. I'm gonna just lock them up with my 12mm here. This is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, perfect. Off 2. So this guy was from right over here. I'm gonna put it back. I took this off because it gives me a lot of room, a lot of clearance. And it's a 10mm here. And I'm gonna lock this up, number 10, and then we'll go further. Make sure this clips on right here. So this is bank 1, sensor 2 right here. This is downstream sensor. The one we took off from right here was an upstream sensor. So this is done. I'm gonna finish that up. The second shield. Then we had a bracket here, and then the oxygen sensor. Okay, so it's gonna catch the threads here. 1, putting it back is much easier processor. I meant to say it was a process. And there's 1 down here. Okay, let's see if I get my hands on it right here. Okay, I can't see where it goes. It goes right here. There you go. You gotta kind of lift it up. Catch the threads. And now we can lock this baby up. Okay. There you have it. 1, not this one, that one's already done. 2, and 3. No one will ever know that you changed the turbo down there. There you have it. Perfect. 12 goes onto this, and this guy goes, it's like a little notch there. The notch goes between here. So you can start the bolt and then twist and turn and get it to the proper angle. But it needs to sit on the notch. If it doesn't, nothing's gonna line on the top. Your air duct pipe is not gonna line. So let me catch all the threads I can here. There you have it. I'm gonna get my socket here. I'm sorry, my second extension here, so I can capture it from right down here and hand tight. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Our sensor. This is the upstream sensor. Okay, bank 1, sensor 1. This only has bank 1, even though they call it a bank 1. If it's a V6, then you have then it's a different story. So I'm gonna get the correct tool for this, and we're gonna just finish it out really quick. So we put this tool on just like that. Make sure you don't damage the cable there. Okay, go easy on the sensor. And oh god, we dropped the little guy from right here. The little grommet from right here. But I don't know why it was sitting there in the first place. But we're gonna lock this up nice and tight. And this guy goes in right here. Usually my clips here break, but it's not going anywhere. So this can just sit right here. It'll snap into there. And this goes into this clip right here. And then the sensor connects right there. Okay, so that's done. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to fish that little piece, and then we'll come back. Okay, we got the air duct housing sitting there. Number 12 bolt goes on this side, and the nut goes on the other side. Use a little piece of paper or plastic bag here. You're not gonna see it. I'm gonna use a light. Try to give me some light over here like this, and I'm gonna go from right here. You can probably see it from right here. Shoot the camera from right here, right there, right there, and let's see if I can get it in the hole. There you go, perfect. And wiggle it around, perfect. The bag is gonna fall. The bag is just gonna sit there if you're not worried about the bag. And that's it. We're gonna come back up and do the second bolt. Okay, so here it is. Second, the other side is a nut right here. Using a plastic little piece of bag to help me get this guy in the spot. And that's it. All I'm gonna do is lock up these. We're pretty much done here. So make sure you connect the sensor here. Make sure you put the clamp here. Make sure you put the pipes vacuum lines here. Make sure you put the clamps in. Make sure you put the reservoir in here with the base first. And that's it. Everything is done. And make sure you put the 2 bolts here. Make sure you put the vacuum line. One is here, and the other one's here, and then the airflow sensor. If you don't put that in, your car is probably gonna not start or act stupid. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to put the oil in. Don't forget to put the coolant in. And I'm gonna do a separate video on the coolant. So we're gonna continue a little bit further. But then you gotta let the car run. It's gonna cycle, and the coolant's gonna cycle everywhere. It's probably gonna go down, so you're gonna have to check it twice. Every other day, you're gonna have to check for a few days, and it should be good after that. Okay, guys, so this is clean. Don't worry about it. I use it for everything. And we got antifreeze here. So we took out about 1.25 gallons, but we got some left around, so we'll fill this up. So make sure you top this off. Fill up the reservoir. After that, you don't need to worry about nothing, okay? Just drive the car around, put the heat on. But make sure this is full, okay? You can't just leave it empty. And as long as it's full, you're good. We already put the engine oil. Make sure you put the engine oil. Top it off and check the level with the dipstick. And then after that, start the car. Check for leaks around the turbo. Remember those 2 lines, coolant lines, oil lines. Everything got to be nice and tight, and nothing can leak. So pretty good system here with the Honda. You don't need to bleed nothing. Just it's gonna burp itself, okay? Make sure the radiator fan, if you want to just sit around and look at it, radiator fan comes on twice. That means the thermostat has opened up every time the fan comes on, and it let the coolant in, and it has circulated all the way through. Anyways, we're gonna run this car and double check our work. So there you go, it's topped off. It's gonna go down little by little. Then we're gonna fill up the reservoir there, and there we have it. We're gonna fill up this guy right here too. Let's see if I can aim really good here. There you go. Oh, well, it's all over. So there you go. So that's how you're gonna change the coolant on your Accord. And make sure you get 2 gallons. I still gotta put some more. I know this is gonna take more, okay? Fill up this, it's gonna go down, it's gonna burp itself, it's gonna suck antifreeze from here. And like I said, make sure you inspect your radiator cap. Make sure this cap is not broken. If it's broken, it's gonna give you trouble. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive the car around a little bit, then we're gonna come back and check. Make sure you put the heat on and let the heat coolant circulate everywhere, and you should get good heat as well. But anyways, thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and make sure you check your oil level. Make sure you put that cap on. So this is a little bit more, but some of it's gonna go in the oil, into the oil filter. That's it. Thank you for watching. Okay, so I checked for leaks down below. You can see the bolt right there, the letter line that we took apart. So there's no leaks on this car at all. Just let it run for a little while. And it's probably gonna smell. I could smell it. And when you start it up, you're probably gonna see a little bit of smoke. That's normal because they put some kind of oil-based stuff on the turbo. So that smell is gonna be there for a little bit, and then it should go away after a day or so. Double check all your work. We forgot something, okay? These little screws, which is not a big deal, because these are already held in so tight. I remembered after he left, I was watching the video, so I moved this. They're loose, that's fine. He drove around the vehicle. We're just gonna check the antifreeze and top off the antifreeze, and then I'll tell him to come back in a day or so. I'll just top it off one more time. Other than that, he's gonna keep an eye on the gauge, and it should be all set. Okay, so this guy drove this vehicle. So Honda is really easy. So I let the car cool off a good 2 hours so the engine is nice and cold. But if it's hot, it's gonna be under pressure. You don't want to burn yourself. So I'm gonna open this radiator cap. We're gonna come a little bit closer, and we're gonna take a look at the antifreeze. And while he went for a drive, because you gotta drive around a little bit, so antifreeze, it will suck it from the reservoir. So what I want to do is I'm gonna fill up top of everything, and then I'll tell him to come back after like a day or so. He can check it himself, but I don't want him to check himself. I don't want him to burn himself. So slowly and gently, I'm gonna fill up this radiator. A little bit more. There you go. Perfect. So if I squeeze this pipe here, so you guys can see, it should lift up. You see that? The system is topped off. And there you go. So it's gonna bleed itself. It's gonna burp itself. So if there's any air in the system, it will take it from this reservoir. And like I said, I'll tell him to come back in 2-3 days, and I'll just check it for him. I'm gonna make this reservoir halfway right now, and that's it. And there you go. Spill a little bit around it, it's fine. Wipe it down if you want. And you'll probably see a few drops on the floor, and that's it. Thank you for watching my video, guys. So this customer stated by changing the turbo, he got more power in the car now. It's not sluggish anymore. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. See you guys in the next video.